There is a room inside you. You have never seen it, and yet you built it with your own hands, brick by brick, in the dark, without ever once picking up a tool consciously. It has no windows. The door locks from the inside. And somewhere right now, someone who loves you is standing outside that room, knocking softly, wondering why you won't let them in. While you, on the other side of that door, are telling yourself you're simply being careful. Well, we spend our entire lives searching for a love that truly sees us. We say it in our music, we ache for it in our sleep. We build entires around the hope that one day someone will look past the performance and find the person underneath. And yet, here is the paradox that will unravel everything you think you know about yourself. We spend every single day of our lives building invisible fortresses to make absolutely certain that we are never found. Sit with that for a moment. Let it settle into the base of your spine, the way cold water settles into stone. You think you're protecting your heart. You call it boundaries. You call it independence. You call it just needing space. But what if I told you that what you've actually built, stone by patient stone, is not a shield, it's a cage? And the terrifying part, the part your conscious mind has been trained never to look at directly, is that you are both the prisoner and the architect. Tonight, we are not going to talk about relationships the way self-help does, with checklists and communication tips and 5 easy steps to a better partnership. No. Tonight, we are going to descend. We are going to walk down into the basement of the psyche, the way Jung once did, carrying nothing but a small lantern of awareness into the room where your shadow lives, that disowned, exiled part of you that holds the real reason you sabotage the very connection you claim to crave. Because here is the truth nobody tells you. You do not fear rejection. Rejection is simple. Rejection is clean. What you actually fear, what makes your chest tighten and your hand reach for the phone to create distance, what makes you pick a fight the moment things get too warm, too close, too real, is not the fear of being left. It is the fear of being witnessed, fully, nakedly, without the armor of your carefully curated self. Let's deconstruct the architecture of intimacy. Let's find out why we build cages and call them safety. Close your eyes for just a second. You can keep reading, keep listening. But somewhere underneath the words, let a part of your mind close its eyes. And remember, the last time someone got close enough to really see you, not your job title, not your jokes, not the version of you that you rehearse in the mirror before you leave the house. I mean, the raw, unedited you. The one who still remembers being small and smaller, sure. The one who still carries the residue of every time you were too much, or not enough, or simply inconvenient to someone who was supposed to love you unconditionally. Do you remember what happened in your body the moment they got close to that? Did your throat tighten? Did you suddenly find yourself changing the subject, cracking a joke, checking your phone, feeling a mysterious urge to leave the room? That was not an accident. That was not you just needing air. That, my friend, was the sentry at the gate of your inner fortress, doing exactly what it was trained to do decades ago. Protect a wound so old, you've forgotten it's even there. Here is the first truth we must excavate together. And I want you to really let this land, because this is the cornerstone of everything that follows. Somewhere in your history, vulnerability was recoded. It was not filed away in your nervous system as connection. It was filed away as danger. Not metaphorical danger, real, cellular, fight or flight danger. Because to a child's undeveloped brain, to be truly seen and then met with indifference, ridicule, abandonment, or the quiet withdrawal of a parent's love, that is not a bad afternoon. That is existential. That is a 5-alarm fire in a nervous system that has no other reference point for safety. So the brain, brilliant and merciless in its efficiency, makes a decision that will echo through every relationship you will ever have. It decides that being fully known is a structural flaw, not something that happened to you, something that is wrong with you. And once that belief calcifies, once it hardens into identity, your entire personality begins to organize itself around a single unconscious directive. Never let them see the flaw. Never let them get close enough to find the crack in the foundation. This is the moment I want you to notice something about your own life, right now, in real time. Think of the last person who tried to get close to you. Really close, past the small talk, past the shared jokes, into the territory of your fears, your doubts, the parts of you that don't have good lighting. What did you do? Did you deflect with humor? Did you suddenly become busy? Did you find something wrong with them? Some minor flaw that justified the distance you were already craving? Notice this without judgment. We are not here to shame you tonight. We are here to see clearly, because clarity, and only clarity, is the beginning of freedom. Carl Jung wrote that, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And nowhere is this more devastatingly true than in love. You call it bad luck with relationships. You call it, I just haven't met the right person. You call it, people always leave eventually, so why get attached? But what if none of that is fate? What if it is simply the shadow, operating exactly as designed, pulling levers behind a curtain you've never thought to look behind? Let's talk about withdrawal. Let's talk about that specific, seductive, almost narcotic feeling of relief that washes over you the instant you create distance. Someone gets too close. They ask a question that reaches past your practiced answers. They say, I love you, with a little too much weight behind it. They see you cry, or fail, or fall apart, and instead of running, they stay. Something inside you, something old and terrified, panics. So you pull back. You go quiet. You pick a fight over something meaningless. You suddenly remember how much you value your independence. And in that moment of retreat, there it is. That loosening in your chest, that feeling of, finally, I can breathe again. I want you to notice how good that relief feels. I want you to really feel it, because that feeling is the bait in the trap. That relief is not freedom. It is the oldest trick your nervous system knows. The relief of a soldier retreating to a bunker, not the relief of a person finally safe enough to rest. It feels like peace. It is actually just the absence of exposure. And your brain, unable to tell the difference between the two, rewards you for retreating the exact same way it would reward you for surviving a real threat. But here is where the paradox turns cruel, where the architecture of self-sabotage reveals its true design. That relief is immediate. It is instant, chemical, undeniable. And the erosion it causes, Felice, the slow starvation of trust, the quiet accumulation of hurt in the eyes of the person who keeps reaching for you and keeps finding air. That erosion is silent. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't spike your heart rate or flood you with adrenaline. It happens in the space between text messages that get shorter, in the slow fading of a certain light in your partner's eyes when they've learned, finally, not to expect you to stay present when things get real. In the quiet moment, months or years later, when they simply stop trying to reach the parts of you behind the wall, because reaching has cost them too much for too long. This is the trade you are making, often without ever consciously agreeing to it. You are trading warmth for certainty. Intimacy is inherently unpredictable. You cannot control how someone will respond to the truest version of you. You cannot guarantee they will stay once they've what you've spent a lifetime hiding. But control is sterile, and control is safe. If you never fully let them in, they can never fully see the thing you've decided is unlovable. If you keep one foot out the door can never truly close on you. You cannot be trapped in a room you never fully entered. And so the shadow makes its quiet, devastating bargain. Better a controlled distance than an uncontrolled love. Better the cold, clean certainty of the fortress than the warm, chaotic risk of the open field. You tell yourself you are choosing peace. What you are actually choosing is the illusion of safety, purchased with the currency of the very connection your soul has been starving for since the day you were born. I want you to sit with this next thought, because it is going to sit with you long after this video ends, resurfacing in quiet moments. While you're driving, while you're lying awake at 3 in the morning, while you're mid-conversation with someone you claim to love, and you feel that old, familiar urge to pull away. The cage was never meant to keep others out. Look closer. Look at the architecture again. The door only locks from the inside. The cage was built to keep you in, frozen in the exact age The exact wound, the exact moment you decided that being fully seen was too dangerous to survive. And the person on the other side of that door, the one who keeps knocking, the one who keeps reaching past your jokes and your busyness and your carefully rehearsed indifference. They are not your threat. They never were. They are the mirror. And what you are truly protecting yourself from was never them at all. The mirror. And what you are truly protecting yourself from was never them at all. It was the child. The one still living inside the architecture of your adult mind. Still crouched in a corner of some old room. Still waiting for someone to confirm what he or she or she suspects, that if they saw everything, they would leave. That love has a limit, and you are somewhere just past it. That child built the fortress not out of malice, but out of devotion. Understand this deeply, because it changes everything. The part of you that sabotages your closest relationships is not your enemy. It is the most loyal soldier you have ever employed, still fighting a war that ended years ago, still guarding a border that no longer exists, because nobody ever told it the war was over. This is what Jung meant when he spoke of the shadow. Not some cartoonish villain hiding in your psyche, but simply everything about yourself you were forced to disown in order to be loved by the people